Alrighty, guys. So, for those of you who are not sports fans, have no fear because while we are going to be talking about one of the biggest sporting events of the entire year, I would say, I mean, obviously in the United States, but also probably across the globe, this has very little to do with football. This has everything to do with movies and trailers because for those of you who know, the Super Bowl is the time when the biggest studios come out and they drop some of their big trailers that, they know they're going to get one of the biggest audiences of the entire year at any event. It's the Super Bowl. So Super Bowl trailers, by the way, have been, coming out for a long time, but the price has just gone up and up and up and up. It is now close to $10 million for 30 seconds, I believe. And if you want a whole minute, oh my goodness, like $20 million or something like that. It's crazy. It's crazy how much it costs to put your trailer out in the Super Bowl. So today, I thought, we're still a couple weeks out from the Super Bowl. And I thought today we would take some time to just predict, actually we're only 1 week away from the Super Bowl by the time this podcast is coming out. So that's crazy. But I thought we'd take some time today to just predict, because as of the recording of this segment, it might be announced, like sometimes movie studios make announcements. They're like, trailer coming at the Super Bowl, and then they announce it ahead of time. But as of the recording of this podcast, of this segment, I don't know any of the trailers that are going to come out on the Super Bowl. So I thought it'd be fun to take a look here and see what are the likeliest films and TV shows. I've included some TV shows here that, I think are less likely inherently just because the return on investment, right? If you're going to pay $10 million for a Super Bowl spot, a 30-second spot, for movies, right? You get your return on investment from new viewers, from ticket sales, right? But for streaming, the only way you make new revenue is by new subscribers. And so, yeah, sure. I mean, you might get a lot of people who hadn't watched or weren't planning on watching the show before, but let's just say a show like that just came out, AGATHA All Along, for example, maybe if they put a trailer out in the Super Bowl, you get people who had Disney Plus being like, oh, sure, I'll check it out. That doesn't make them any more money. So the return on investment is not as clear, right? So that's why I think inherently TV shows are much less likely to have Super Bowl spots, but, it's not impossible because, yeah, you can get a lot of new subscribers or people resubscribing, I should say, for certain TV shows. I remember right as the pandemic was happening, or actually this was right before the pandemic, 2020, I believe, or maybe 2021. I think 2021, actually. Yeah, 2021, they released a whole Disney Plus spot for Marvel where it was a little glimpse of WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Loki. Actually, it might have been 2020. I think, yeah, 2021 was when they released the full Falcon and the Winter Soldier trailer. So, anyways, so it happens, right? It does happen for sure. So let's go through this list. I'm going to give you my top 5 picks and then a couple dark horses. And then, I'll just mention a few or a lot of projects that I think just aren't going to have Super Bowl trailer spots, but it's still within the realm of possibility, right? Vague possibility. Now, I am also, I want to be upfront here and just say the selection process is not just what I think the biggest movies of the year are. It's not even just release dates, right? Because sure, some films are, like Avatar is not going to have a Super Bowl spot, and if it does, I'm going to be shocked because it's coming out in December, right? Wicked Part 2, for as much as I'd like to see a trailer, because I loved Wicked Part 1, is not going to have a Super Bowl trailer spot because it's coming out in 9 months, right? It's just not going to happen. So release date is definitely a part of it. But the other part of it is money, right? I think a film like Five Nights at Freddy's is just not going to have a Super Bowl spot, even if it was coming out at the prime, release date in terms of distance from the Super Bowl, because it's just not a big budget film. And to spend $10 million on one project, in marketing is crazy when you could spend that all on just bombarding news broadcasts and cable TV and stuff like that, So it just doesn't seem likely. So these are all big budget films for a reason, because it costs a lot of money to put these spots on the Super Bowl. That being said, let me just run through quickly a bunch of films in a show that I think are very likely not to have Super Bowl spots, and then we're going to run through a couple honorable mentions, and then we'll run through my top 5 picks. So, and if I forgot one, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear. Elio, I just don't think they're going to put that much of a marketing push into the Pixar film. We'll see. Paddington and Peru and Captain America Brave New World are coming out on February 14th, literally less than a week after the Super Bowl. I just don't think it makes sense. It doesn't make financial sense. Minecraft in another world where it looked really good. The first 2 trailers looked really good. I could have seen it, but I think that the backlash is just going to be even worse. It might even deter people from going out to see it. So yeah, I wouldn't put Minecraft there. Daredevil, I think similarly to Captain America, is just coming out so soon. It also just dropped its trailer, so I don't think it's very likely. Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon are on the bubble for me. I think maybe, and I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, but they also feel like films where $10 million is a lot of money to put into one marketing push, when also How to Train Your Dragon and Lilo and Stitch are pretty known properties. So it feels like once they actually start their marketing push, it feels more likely that they're going to actually, use that money more in that realm, but we'll see. I wouldn't be shocked. I just would be surprised is all. Now, my two honorable mentions are two TV shows, because like I said, TV shows you're just not likely to see a return on investment, because new subscribers are the only way you make money. But The Last of Us Season 2 and Andor Season 2, both coming out in April, I actually think have a decent shot of getting Super Bowl trailers. Andor hasn't had a trailer, a full Season 2 trailer yet, and The Last of Us has only had teasers, basically. But if you want your national audience, and these are two shows that were beloved, right, in both the Star Wars corner and the Max corner, the Disney Plus and Max corners, and I think that if you want the audiences to know that these films are coming out, definitely, this is definitely the place to do it. So I wouldn't be shocked, honestly. These are my honorable mentions, because they're TV shows. Like, if they were movies, I would definitely put them on here. Okay, 5 movies now, I think, that are definitely going to get Super Bowl trailers, going from least likely to most likely, in my opinion. Number 5 is a film, actually, that I don't think people have really heard of, and I think that's why it's the perfect film to be on this list, is F1, the Joseph Kosinski film. And now, if you don't know Joseph Kosinski's name, you should, because he's the one who directed Top Gun Maverick that made over $1 billion. Now, again, budget might be a thing here, because sure, I don't know normally if a film would be willing to, or if a studio would be willing to give a Super Bowl spot to a film like F1, but I think that riding off of the, the high that was Top Gun Maverick, if you have a trailer that looks as interesting in terms of, going from the airplane maneuvers to now Formula One racing. Also, Formula One is so popular, right? And I think that, Joseph Kosinski's name, all you have to do is put from the director of Top Gun Maverick, and you're going to get immediate buzz from that if the trailer looks good. I think F1, which comes out in June 2025, is sneakily one of the most likely properties to get a Super Bowl trailer. We'll see. We'll see about that. Coming in at number 4 for me is Thunderbolts. Now, Thunderbolts, I am a little more hesitant on, because it does usually mean, or, the release date that Thunderbolts occupies is usually the release date that Marvel will drop a Super Bowl trailer for, the May release date, right? You have Avengers films and Captain America films. I remember Captain America Civil War had a Super Bowl spot. Avengers films have Super Bowl spots. Both Endgame and Infinity War, I believe, had Super Bowl spots. It's the May release date, right? Guardians has had Super Bowl spots because of the May release dates. It feels like we've gotten a lot already from Thunderbolts. That makes me a little more hesitant, honestly. It just makes me a little more hesitant that, to think that Thunderbolts is going to get another trailer, because they've released a couple, like 2 or 3 minute trailers. So I don't know. We'll see. I just, I put it here, not because I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's more likely than not, but I just be curious, because also, hint, hint, wink, wink, there is a third Marvel project that we haven't talked about yet that I think is more likely to get that $10 million spot. Although Marvel has enough money to do both, so we'll see. We'll see about that. Number 3 is Superman. And I know that James Gunn has talked about that there is going to be something coming at the Puppy Bowl, which is, I think, after the Super Bowl or something like that. But I still think that there is a decent enough chance that they will just, do something at the Super Bowl anyways, because. And I know there was this whole controversy around David Corenswet's face when he was flying. I don't really care. I don't care. That whole debate is just so uninteresting to me, because let's just wait for the movie. It's a frame. It's a fraction of a frame of a trailer. It doesn't matter. But I think that this movie, in particular, Superman, needs as many eyeballs on it as possible. And if they think they got a good film, they need as many people to be seeing this and to realize there is a Superman movie coming. It is a different Superman than the Man of Steel one, which they probably didn't like, just based on, again, general audience reactions. I'm not trying to generalize. I'm just saying that more people, like, it's split. It's split enough that there is a chance that they didn't like the Man of Steel version, the Henry Cavill version, and they need to see that there is a new Superman coming, and it's coming soon, and it looks good, which I hope they think it looks good. I think it looks good. I have my concerns with it, but I think it looks good overall. So I think that is something that they need to do, that Superman just needs to get as many eyeballs on it as possible. The second most likely Super Bowl trailer, in my opinion, though, is Fantastic Four, because I think that if speaking of getting eyeballs on this property, people need to know that Fantastic Four is coming. And what better time to put a teaser out, right? A teaser trailer out than about 5 months before the movie comes out. I think it's perfect. I think it's perfect timing to launch their marketing campaign. And this is the movie where we go, we're coming. Like, this is the big MCU movie of the year. We are coming. Pedro Pascal, people know him, people love him. Vanessa Kirby, people like her, people love her. The other character is Joseph Quinn. People really liked him in Stranger Things. So just introduce the Fantastic Four to the audience, to the globe, really, who are watching the Super Bowl, and we'll be on our way. But number 1, I think this is pretty obvious, actually, to me, is Jurassic World Rebirth. Because it's Jurassic World, I think people also need to know, because, do you sense a common theme here, that these are properties that people may not have realized, and I'm talking about the general public, not this, the audience of my YouTube channel, which obviously we're plugged into all these different things going on. But the general movie-going audience, or just the general audience, just people, they're not plugged in. And so I think that they need to see Jurassic World is back, and it's different because it's not the Chris Pratt version, which maybe they liked, maybe they didn't like. Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, Jonathan Bailey, looks good, looks really good. So I think Jurassic World, and also, by the way, speaking of having money, these films are pretty much guaranteed to make $1 billion. Now, I say guaranteed facetiously because, sure, I mean, Jurassic World Rebirth could come out and could make $200 million. But let's be real. Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, not really good, in my opinion. And critics didn't seem to like it. And it made over $1 billion easily. Jurassic World Dominion, I would argue, even worse. Critics would say, even worse, made $1 billion. So as long as the film is good, it's going to make $1 billion, in my opinion. And people just need to know it's coming. And the Super Bowl is a great place to announce that to the world. So those are my most likely Super Bowl trailers that I think we're going to get. F1 and number 4, we have Thunderbolts, Superman at 3, Fantastic Four First Steps at 2, and then, of course, Jurassic World Rebirth at number 1. But what do you guys think? What are the most likely Super Bowl trailers that we could be getting? Of course, by the time this segment and this podcast come out, we might have gotten confirmation already. So again, just, making a note here that this is recorded a few days in advance of the podcast coming out. But, it's still fun to think about. Let me know in the comments down below.